Satprem, as we know, was somebody very close to the mother. It happened in the barren canyons near Pondicherry. I was sitting quietly when 3 men came out of a hollow. Instantly I knew they have come to kill me. I remained seated without moving, and very strangely, without my making any effort or concentrating in any way, I suddenly felt as if I'd been emptied of myself without a reaction, without fear, without anything, like a stone, but a conscious stone which watched the scenes as if it was some show that did not concern it. So with grace, he was pulled completely into the witness poise. He was no longer identified with the surface Satprem. As in a dream, when you watch something happening to someone else who's nevertheless yourself, the sensation was not really of being a stone, except for its neutrality, but rather of a body, my body, as if it were a completely transparent something, nullified and slightly floating. Nothing moved, not a shiver, not a throb, and I had nothing to do with it. There was no mastery or any effort on my part. Something seemed to have seized hold of me in a transparent immobility. Such a beautiful phrase, transparent immobility. Transparent because anything can go through it, nothing sticks. The 3 men were there, 2 in front, 1 behind. I did not move. They spoke amongst themselves. Then a sort of voice within me said, "Get up." I got up with my back to the canyon. One of the 2 henchmen took off my watch, probably to make it look like a theft. Okay, so if they find the body without the watch, they may think he was robbed and then pushed. The man behind came and stood in front of me. I saw the killer raise his arm to push me down into the canyon. I followed the motion of his arm. My eyes met his golden eyes. He dropped his arm, stayed there for a moment, vacillating, as if he did not quite know what to do or what he was doing there. He in turn really seemed to watch the whole scene as if it had no meaning, or as if he had forgotten what he had come to do there. He turned his back. The other 2 turned their backs and they left. And all of a sudden they took to their heels as if they were panic-stricken. Then my heart suddenly remembered that it should have been frightened, that it had just escaped being killed, and it started beating like an idiot. So that spell was broken. He came back. The only thing I know is that if there had been the slightest effort on my part, the slightest stiffening, the smallest reaction to reject those men, even an inner rejection, a mere no within, I would have been killed instantly. The wall thus erected would have met the other man's vibration, and the vibration's rebound would have triggered off the entire mechanism. But there was nothing, not a breath. I was like a current of air. The other man's vibration passed through. There was no rebound. A current of air cannot be killed, can it? To be able to kill, there has to be a contact, a grip. He could not grip anything, for there was nothing. So if there was nothing, there was nothing. That is to say, for 5 or 7 minutes, by some grace, my physical mind did not function. That is how all miracles occur. But the true miracle is the natural state. The true miracle, what he experienced as a window of being motionless and still, is actually our natural state. What we are living is not our natural state. So this is an extremely beautiful story, because it tells us a very important truth and a very important way of living in life. You know, the mother says, whenever there's a quarrel, both parties involved are wrong. I found this fabulous when I read it, because we feel when we quarrel with people, they are in the wrong or we are in the wrong, and the whole battle is about wanting to prove you are wrong, no you are wrong, no you are wrong. But mother says that if there's a quarrel, understand however right you seem in your stance, you are wrong in your consciousness. Yeah, because if you had the right consciousness, there would never ever be a quarrel, right? This is an extreme case where Satprem, if he had been in his normal consciousness, he'd have fought for his survival, fight or flight, right? That's our normal response. We fight back or we fly. But there's a third, there's a transcendence. Because whenever you quarrel, you're resonating with the vibration of a falsehood, right? However right you seem. And the falsehood in that person is resonating with the falsehood in you, and there is a quarrel. But if that person is resonating with falsehood and we don't catch that vibration, we have different ways, either by remembering mother, either by making this my mantra, what the mother says, that if there's a quarrel and you get into a quarrel, however right you seem, somewhere you have to be wrong. What is the wrong in me? How can I correct it? And if I hold back, it's not that I become a doormat. I will take action. But the best action comes from a calm, quiet state. The best action comes when I don't get into a quarrel. Right? Like Satprem is one example, but we do know, we've said this many times, when there was the cyclone in Pondicherry and the mother came, everything was flying pell-mell in the rooms and whatever. And mother came to close Sri Aurobindo's windows, thinking his table was full of papers. But she says when she entered, there wasn't a flutter in a curtain. He embodied such truth consciousness that the vibration of the cyclone just couldn't enter his atmosphere. Yeah, like Satprem, the assassin's intention couldn't hit him. Sri Aurobindo, so much, not only a human being, but so much mastery over vibrations in nature. So, first thing we should all do when we are sadhaks of mother is try to change that nature which fights back to protect ourselves. We should fight back, but in a different way. But we fight back with consciousness, because consciousness is the greatest lever and the greatest protection. Just fighting back with words and all, it never helps. No, we've all seen eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. It's always a lose-lose. It's never a win-win. But if one person is also in the right consciousness and you act from there, often you'll be blamed for, oh, you're sitting on the fence, you're not taking sides. But mother has very clearly said that to take strong sides for one party or another, somewhere you're vibrating with falsehoods. Because we are so convinced of white and black, but God operates in an area of grey where white and black fuse. Perfection and imperfection exist simultaneously. You understand what I'm saying? So, in that sense, our greatest battle is to have the right consciousness and to act from there.